Welcome to Real Talk, Real Women. My name is Miriam Khalladi, and today we have Lindsey Meyer on the show. Welcome, Lindsey. How are you?
I'm good. How are you, Miriam?
I'm fine. Thank you so much for your time.
Yes, thank you for having me on the show.
You're most welcome. So, Lindsey, how did you get interested in health and fitness?
So my interest in health and fitness is going to come with having a pretty good background as an athlete. I think from the time that I ever saw my dad play softball or play catch in the front yard with my mom, I knew that I wanted to be the same thing. I knew that I wanted to be able to throw a ball no matter what it involved. So I started off playing softball at a young age, and as over the years, I definitely moved into every other sport imaginable. I'm talking soccer, basketball, you name it, I did it. So I definitely have a great background as an athlete, and I would have loved to play some type of sport through college, but unfortunately I tore everything in my knee pretty early on. So that took down some of the more intense projects. I tried to continue running track, and that didn't go so well. So after that, I think that I continued on over the years, definitely with softball. It's not as much impact. But after that, I think it was in my early 20s that actually, I was just never the type of girl that really wanted to eat right or doing that. I was always an athlete, so athletes get to eat pretty much whatever they want, especially when you're young. You eat whatever you want, and whatever output you're doing with your exercises, because you're doing so much, you make up for it. So that's definitely how I took it. And so the thought of ever creating a diet plan for myself or following proper nutrition and to achieve the body that I wanted was never a mindset of mine. I had a mindset of an athlete. I ate carbs. I love carbs. This is how this goes. Lots of pizza. So in my early 20s, I actually decided that I wanted to train for a good run. And during that train, I decided to follow a proper nutrition to give me more energy, because I wasn't getting what I needed out of everything. And I didn't really understand what protein did for me or any of that stuff. So I decided to dive in, really follow proper nutrition, and cut all my alcohol. And I took it very serious. And along that journey of the race, and it was only a 10K, by the way. It wasn't this giant marathon or anything. But to me, I set a goal and I put my mind to it. And I wanted to do really well. And so I did everything I could, did really well at the race. And after the race, I actually found myself stuck without a goal. Like, okay, I've changed a lot through this process. I really like the person I've become, and I'm more interested in fitness. And what else can I do to my body? And at the time, I had a good friend of mine. She competed through NPC organization. She was a figure competitor. So the whole fitness world welcomed me in through that girl. She kind of gave me a nudge and said, hey, why don't you give this a go? And I said, there is no way I'm going to do that. I'm never going to do that diet. And she said, no, I really think you should give it a try. I think you'd do great. So I actually did give it a try. And within 6 weeks, actually, which is very different because most people train 12 weeks, if not longer, for their first competition. So I had 6 weeks, and yes, I was probably a little crazy, and obviously shows I had no clue what was going on in that world. I said, well, I think I'll do that show, and I got a trainer and followed proper nutrition, didn't cheat at all, just dove straight into it and busted my butt off with workouts, and actually placed third place at my first competition. I went from 19% body fat, which is already very athletic zone from all of the sports and everything else, but I dropped all the way down to about 12% body fat within 6 weeks. So it was an amazing accomplishment. And during that journey, when I actually stepped on stage for that show, I'll never forget that feeling.
Amazing, wonderful.
It's an adrenaline rush that you can almost collapse from, actually. But just working so hard for so long and getting there, and after that, I was addicted to fitness, and I was just completely absorbed into a whole new culture that I never knew could change me as a person.
Wow, wonderful. And now people always ask you what kind of workout you do, but you feel that nutrition is way more important than the workouts, right? What can you share around it?
Okay, so nutrition is, I tell my friends, it's 80%. I like to say 85%, honestly, of what you're doing. And let me break that down. People may just think, oh, yeah, of course, nutrition's more important. But there's a reason behind it. There's a reason why we say to not drink alcohol and things like that. And most people think, oh, alcohol is calories, and that's why we don't drink it if we're training. No, the real issue is that alcohol is actually a poison that goes into your body, and it messes with protein synthesis. So you can't even bulk up or put the muscle on that you need to. It really stops your goals. So if you're serious, you have to cut that away, and you have to understand things like that. You have to understand to feed yourself enough. I don't know how many girls I've seen that were told it was important to cut their calories down to, I've heard numbers of stunning 800, 900 calories a day, and they were starving. And it's very unfortunate when you come across a girl like that that's been told and she thinks that's right, and she's just barely nudging along. Or the exact opposite, the type of person who just doesn't count calories at all, and they're considerably overeating every day. And then there's a third person who may be really working out, and this was me actually early on. You really work out really hard, but you don't really exactly match your nutrition up, and you wonder why maybe you're not putting on muscle or whatnot. It's because you're not properly feeding those muscles. So to me, nutrition is most important. If you want to do anything, I always say, this is a simple way to remember it. I always say food is your fuel to do what you need to do. It is our gas in our bodies. So if you have to put gas in your cars, unless you have a fancy electrical car, you need to put the same high fuel in your body in order to get yourself where you need to go. So
I agree. Thank you. And you've suffered from hormone damage because of staying extremely lean for extended amounts of time. Isn't that right? And what can you share around it?
Yes, so I'm really glad you actually asked that. So this is an important topic to me, because I think that when girls come to me for advice, or any new person that's hopping into the sport of competing or looking to get really ultra lean, which is what we face up against when we go into competitions, it can be very hard if your nutrition isn't proper, or if you as a woman, if you stay under 15% body fat for extended amounts of time, it can lead to damage, especially to your hormones. And I have a very important message out there for all the ladies. You are not losing any weight if you're having any issues with your hormones. So long term, it can affect us having kids and everything. So it's an issue that can haunt you for your life, and sometimes damage can't be fixed. So, and that's a really hard thing to choke down. So it's very, very important that early on, that if you're thinking about doing any type of goal, go with a nutritionist. And I understand that we can't all afford it, but if you're looking to head into that zone, I tell people, get a nutritionist before you get a personal trainer. You can work out and keep pushing yourself, but if you do something that you can't fix with your body, it's just going to ruin you forever. So I never want to see another. My hormone damage is minor. I'm still exploring it. It's a new discovery within the past 8 months, actually. So I'm definitely working through it. I work very closely with my doctor, very closely with a nutritionist in Dallas, and I've developed a lot better nutrition plan and regimen now. So, and I've learned to give myself breaks, because, like you said, I stayed ultra lean, which was the main issue. Competing for about, I think I was 7 months of a season that I was like that. So below 15% body fat. And it's not a safe thing, unfortunately. So the safest thing is to dip down low, to look ultra lean or ultra shredded, and then definitely refeed your body, put some weight back on, and look more normal, honestly, because not everybody always likes to see very, very lean, and it concerns family and things like that. So.
And 2 years ago, you really got serious and started watching what you ate as you prepared for a race. How did that go?
So the journey was, like I said, I never wanted to watch what I eat. I could never vision myself. And I hear people tell me this all the time when they actually ask me, how do I do what I do? And I tell them, I eat perfectly, and that's how you achieve what you want. You have to work out, but you have to eat right. And so everyone was like, there's no way I could do that. I said, careful what you say, because those exact words came out of my mouth 3 years ago. I didn't want to eat right. And I love pasta. It is my favorite food. It's still my favorite favorite food to this day. I love a big bowl of spaghetti, lasagna, love pizza. So that's just the type of girl I am. But I learned to be smarter. Heavy leg days equals pasta for me. So I'm a lot better with my choices in that. But along the way, along my journey, when I did train for that race, I put my mind to it. And I have a tendency to do this with a lot of things. If I make a goal for myself, and I am a very goal-oriented girl, I buckle down and head forward and I go for it. And I will smash through that line, that ribbon at the end of the race, and I can't wait to get there, and I keep pushing myself. So along that process of training for that race and training for my first competition, I did exactly what I was supposed to do, and I pushed and I pushed. And there are days, especially competing, there are days that you want to eat everything, and then you're going to cry, and then you're going to say you quit all in one day, and then you might be happy again. But through all those journeys, it's important that you keep your goal and you push through the end. And when you get there, I promise it's so worth it. So that's what pushed me in the end. And I just followed my nutrition. I stuck to my guns, and I made it through. So, and I learned a whole new me.
Amazing. And not too long after you competed for the NPC in a figure competition and placed third at your first show, you eventually competed at the NPC USA's in Vegas. What has competing taught you about yourself?
So USA's is a very proud moment of my competing career, actually. I became a nationally qualified athlete after about a year, I want to say right into a year of competing. And so I went straight to nationals, and I went straight for the biggest nationals show, actually. USA's is a packed show, and like I said, it's in Vegas, so it's very, very exciting. I had to travel from from Texas to Vegas. So, and I went for it. And so that competition, oh my gosh, I thought it was never going to be over. I really worked very hard for that one. I didn't place well at all, but that's okay, because sometimes you're not what they're looking for, or the sport is very different, and it's different in other areas. I have very big muscular legs from being an athlete myself, and I honestly don't have to work very hard for them at all. But that's not exactly what is for my sport, which is bikini. They want sometimes a more softer look, so I ended up coming in way too hard for that show. And that was okay. I had a good cry after. I was pretty disappointed, but you cheer right back up, and you recover after, and then if you decide your next move, and you go for it. So
Great mindset. And it's obvious that you are a very motivated person, always working hard to be the best. I know that you've never shared this with anyone before, but where do you feel this stems from, and what happened?
Miriam, I honestly get my motivation, and yes, this is the first time I'm actually sharing this publicly. And I thought long and hard about saying this type of thing out loud, because it's something very few people know. It's actually something that my close family knows, very few of my friends know. But I do want to go publicly with it, because when you and I started working together on this project, I saw an amazing opportunity. And that opportunity is to be able to reach other girls that are just like me. I'm a normal person, and I've gone through very many things in my life that make me the strong woman that I am today, and the woman I'm very proud to be. But getting down to it, the things that I've gone through in my childhood, I've been through sexual abuse from a young age for years at a time. And one day I went to my mom, and I told her what was going on. And my mom, of course, she's an amazing, strong woman. She took my word for it, and we took care of it. It's not as simple as that. It was stuck in courtrooms and pulled out of class in school. I definitely wasn't your typical student for about 2 years, I would say, after being constantly pulled out of class to be questioned and try to nail down the guy. And those situations are so unfortunate, because it's so hard to prove what has happened to a child in situations like that. But regardless, at the time, I refused my counseling. I wouldn't talk to my guidance counselor at all, and I never really did. And I think that that's okay, because I think that girls and boys, everybody, and it's so unfortunate, it's so tragic that people have to go through this as children. But sexual abuse is one of those things that everyone will recover from in a different way, I think. And to me, I locked down inside of me, and I recovered with myself. And that may be sad to some people, and I never say this out loud because I don't look for pity from anybody, and I don't want people to know or feel bad for me or anything like that. I found this part inside of me that says, you're going to push through this like everything else, and you're going to push through everything in your life. You are you, and you have you to rely on. And it's like whenever I did that, and I was very young, I was a young teenager when I recovered from that. And so that pushed me going forward. And forgive me, again, this is the first time I'm saying this out loud. So the only other time I've actually spoken about this is in a lockdown essay through a law class. I had a law teacher really push me hard to write this story out on paper, and I did. And I won an essay contest, and it was published in the Library of Congress. And so that's where that work exists, is in the Library of Congress, hidden away where not very many people can see it. But the fact of the matter is, going through something like that, everyone looks at me now and they're like, oh my gosh, how do you do everything you do? And to me, it's because I've taught myself, you are a survivor. You will do whatever you want to do. You will be whatever you want to be. And so I'm really hoping to reach other girls who may have gone through this situation. And I want to show them you can do whatever you want with your life. And I've seen this go the opposite way with girls, and they become more provocative as they get older. You look for a security feeling sometimes in other people. And I've almost fallen into that trap before. But I learned to myself that, I need to set goals to make myself the person I want to be. And so that's what I've strived for instead. And my only hope is that I can find other girls and help them achieve those same things. So
thank you so much for opening up and sharing this with me, Lindsey.
No problem, no problem. I'm just happy to, it's finally out there.
Thank you so much for your openness. And you became a fighter and grew into a beautiful, strong woman. You've taught yourself to go through tough times. What advice can you give others around it?
That's so easy. I hate saying it like that, but it is easy. And you do what you want to do. That's what I have for everybody. You need to decide what it is you want. And if you don't know, you can head in the right direction. You'll get there, I promise. You'll figure it out. When you see what you want, go for it. Don't stop at any cost. Don't let anything stop you from what you want to do. When I was younger, I said I want to be both a lawyer and a model. So it's really, really cute, but it's actually kind of funny the way it worked out. I learned very, very quickly that I was too short for modeling. I'm 5'6", so that's not going to quite cut it on the runway. And also from playing sports, I have a very muscular build, so I'm not exactly stick thin, which is what typical modeling consists of. But I found a little niche in fitness modeling, and I absolutely love it. They embrace curves, and they embrace the strong woman, and that's exactly what I am. And so I love my fitness modeling. And at the same time, I have an amazing career. I've worked for Apple for almost 8 years now, and I've worked my way straight to the top. I'm very proud of the job that I have now, and I'm very, very thankful to work with the people that I get to work with every day. But yeah, I balance both. So I'm not a lawyer and like a high runway model, but I did turn into an education account executive and a side fitness model. So I'm very proud of that.
Absolutely, great. And this reminds me of how many people feel that they are having a hard time in their life and complain about things that don't even matter. There's always someone who's gone through tougher times, right? How do you stay focused and on the positive?
Yes, there is always somebody, and the grass always looks greener on the other side. People come up to me, and I've actually had one girl say one time, it made my skin crawl. She told me, she's like, well, it must be nice to be you and have that nice body and everything. And I'm like, you have no idea what it takes to be here. You have to work so hard. If you want this, then go for it. Push yourself the way I've pushed myself. I didn't just snap my fingers and start appearing in magazines. It never happens like that. So as far as the grass being greener on the other side, it's always going to look like that. But tougher times are hard. When you're going through something in your life, and I've been through other hard things in my life, trust me. I've had people try to steal my identity who I was very close with. So I've gone through crazy other stuff too. And during those times, I questioned myself. I found myself at an ultimate low at one point in time. And it was actually, I was sitting in church on Easter Sunday, and I started just crying, overwhelming, because I find faith in God. And I've always searched through answers there. And I was questioning my faith at that point. It was quite low, the things I was going through. And I said, no, God is going to choose the path that he wants for me. And I knew that. And I had to say, well, while it's hard right now, somebody's going to watch out for me. He's going to watch out for me, and he's going to lead me in the right direction. And sure enough, God just has a plan for me, and I know it. And it's same for everybody out there that, it may not seem right now. You may have had the most valuable person in your life just taken from you, and you don't know how you're going to ever recover from that. But you will, and he will help you, and you may question your faith as well, and it's only normal, but eventually you will get through it, and eventually you will have your path, because I'm equipped to handle things like that, to go through tragedies in my life and push through them and continue being the person that I am today. So,
great advice. And you've also worked at Apple for about 8 years, as you mentioned,
yes.
as an education account executive, starting at the bottom and working yourself up. How do you balance your job, family, and modeling?
Oh my goodness. Yes. So this is something that is very hard. And I really hope that other women out there who worry because they are moms or they carry a job that they can't obtain the goals that they want, or it's too hard to get to the gym. It's not. It takes a lot of creativity, and with me, it involves prepping my food on Sundays, cooking to stay on track throughout the week, and then I'm up at 4 o'clock in the morning every day. I get to work. I do my first workout in the morning, and if I'm training for something, sometimes I'll do 2 workouts through the day, so I'll work out during my lunch breaks. And then after work, I come on home and I rest. I have a dog. I have a fiance. So the engagement is newer, and it's a whole new balance to my life. Now I have a family, and I'm learning how to balance that. How can you cook for your family? You can make it fun by, dieting is never miserable to me. I love, I call it eating clean. It's not a diet. You never survive on diets, basically. So, I make it fun for my fiance and I make dinners that we can both eat and enjoy, salmon, things like that. We always grill everything. We love it. We're very happy together. So I balance him and my awesome dog. I'll do my cardio with my dog. I do a real good pump walk with my dog, and I get my heart rate up, and then my dog is happy, got to play with me. So I look at all things like that. I look at even mopping my floors, and I get creative, and I really push the mop because you're burning extra calories, so take advantage of the next time you're vacuuming your floors and really hit it hard.
Is there anything else you would like to share that you feel we've missed?
We've really gone through so much. I just want to reiterate that if there are any girls out there, please find me on Facebook, Lindsey Meyer, Fitness for Life. Connect with me, and I would love to hear your story, even if it's just listening to you. And I understand not everyone wants to talk. So if you want to just come look me up and just watch me and follow me, that's fine with me. I was a silent type myself. So I just hope that there are girls out there who find motivation in themselves and learn that there is a path for them no matter what the situation. So
thank you so much. And I will make sure to put your links below this video.
That would be awesome. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Lindsey. It was an absolute pleasure to have you on the show.
It was awesome. What a great opportunity. I'm very thankful.
You're most welcome. And thank you so much for watching. My name is Miriam Khalladi. For more inspiration, check out our book at realtalkrealwomenbook.com.